Today I'm going to show you how to fix a leaky kitchen faucet. My wife's friend Jan had requested that we show her how to do this. I guess apparently she has a leaky kitchen faucet. So I have a kitchen faucet here today and it's not hooked up. But the first thing that you want to do before you do any type of work on your faucets, your toilets, or bathroom faucets or anything is underneath the cabinet there's going to be a hot and a cold water shutoff valve. So you need to turn those off completely and then open and close the valve on your faucet several times until all the water is drained out. Otherwise, if you go to take this apart, you're just going to have a giant water stream shooting out of your faucet, and then you're going to remember to turn off the faucet. So please turn the faucets off below your cabinet first. So my wife's friend said that she has a faucet that is a single lever type of faucet, which when you turn one way it goes cold, the other way it goes hot. Everybody should know that. So in the front of your faucet, on the handle at the bottom here, you're going to see there's a hole. And in that hole is going to be a tiny little set screw. Sometimes that hole will be covered with a cap, and that cap is usually either red and blue, so it shows you which way to push the nozzle so that you're going to get hot or cold water.
Sorry, that's my fault. It just went blurry. Keep going.
So what you need to do is get an Allen wrench, and these set screws are different sizes, so you might have to get 2 or 3 of these and figure out what exact size that set screw is. So you just put it in there and line it up. It's kind of deep in there, and then you just loosen that until you get the set screw all the way out. And when you're doing this over your sink, make sure that you cover up the drains on your sink. You know, put a dish in there, cover it up with a, one of those plunger things. But just make sure that you cover that up. Otherwise, when you take that set screw out, if you're like me, sometimes you have slippery fingers. If it falls in there, that set screw goes down inside your drain, then you're going to end up having to take out the pipe underneath your sink and open the trap and dig around for your set screw. So once you get the set screw out, the top comes off pretty easy. And then after that, this is the little handle right here, and connected to it is a little ball, and I'll show you that here in a second. And what you're going to do is you're going to loosen this base, and on this faucet you can see that there's some serrated sides on here. So if it's really tight, you can get a wrench and put it on those serrations and you can loosen it. But be very careful, and usually if I have to do that on my wrench, I'll put some masking tape or I'll put some electrical tape on the wrench so that I don't damage the chrome on my faucet. So then you loosen that up, and it's just going to screw off. And you're going to take that off like that. And then this is the part that is typically going to be causing your leak. You're going to take out this little piece right here. And you're going to take out this little piece right here. And this little rubber ring, this is typically what causes your leak. Or down inside here, there's a couple gaskets, and I'll show you that here in a second. But this rubber ring could be corroded, it could be old, and it may just have a piece of dirt or something that's fallen down inside there or worked its way inside of there, and you just need to clean that off. But if you see any kind of damage to this ring, then you'll need to replace this. And all these replacement parts can be found at any kind of home improvement store or hardware store, or you can probably even order them online. And you can buy a whole replacement kit for the inside of your faucet. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to know what type of faucet you have, who's the maker of your faucet, and maybe the model. But a lot of times the model number isn't on the faucet. So you could probably just take these parts with you, show them to somebody at the home improvement store, and tell them what type of faucet you have, and he'll get you the right gaskets and he'll get you the right little grommets that go down inside here. So then this little ball is going to come out of here like this, and then if you can see down inside here, there's 2 rubber seals down inside there, and those are the rubber seals that go to the hot and the cold water that come in from your water lines. And the best thing to do is to replace both of those, and also to replace this little rubber gasket right here, so that you know that all of the sealing surfaces inside your faucet are now going to be good again. So then after that, you have to put the whole thing back together again. And most faucets are made this way so that when you go to put them back together, they only go back together one way. If you can see, there's a little pin right here, and then on the ball, there's a little groove on the ball right there. So you take that and you line it up with that pin, just like that. I don't know if you can see that real well. And then just put everything back together the way it came apart. And I'm going to use this coffee can to help support it because it's kind of spring loaded. It's not a really tight spring or a really heavy spring that everything's going to fly out in your face, but you will need to push down on it. So then you take your little rubber seal here, and the best thing to do is usually coat it with maybe a little bit of grease. If you don't have any grease, you could use like liquid soap or something like that, because when you slide it back down inside here, you want it to slide in there really smooth. And then you take this, which is a little plastic cover that goes over top of this plastic seal, and on the side of it, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a little nipple right there. And on the side of your faucet, there's a little groove in the housing right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to line those up, and like I was saying, they make it this way so you can put it back together and don't have to worry about, oh my God, did I get it all lined up right or anything like that. So this is the part where it's going to take a little bit of pressure, because you got to push that down in there until that lines up inside that groove. And then what I usually do is I take a deep well socket like this, and I put it on top of this. And I know it might be a little hard to see because I have to put pressure on it. And then you take your cap and you put it back on there, and you have to hold that down so that that nipple stays inside that groove. Otherwise, when you go to tighten this up, it'll come out and it won't be lined up properly. So then you just tighten this back up. And once you get it down so far, then you can just tighten it the rest of the way with your hands. And you can take your wrench and tighten it down snug. And then in the bottom of this, there's a little hole right there, and the top of that ball, this little handle right here, has got a flat side on it. I don't know if you can see it real well, but there's a little flat side right there. And what you're going to want to do is line this up so that where your set screw goes into, it's going to line up with that flat part. So then you put that on there. And then you take your Allen wrench with your set screw, and you just line it up with that hole. And you don't want to kill this. You don't want to, tighten this thing to the point to where, you're straining. You just want to get it nice and snug, because those little set screws with the Allen head in them, they strip out very easily. So you just want to make sure that it's snug. Once it's snug, then you go back underneath your sink and turn your hot and your cold valves back open, and then you test your faucet. And you'll hear some air coming out, and it'll kind of bubble, and it'll spit a little bit until the water gets all the way back through the line and back through your faucet. And then I would open and close it a few times and turn on the hot water, turn on the cold water, and then turn it off and make sure that it's not dripping any longer. And if you've replaced all the seals and all the grommets correctly, then your faucet won't leak anymore. And I hope this has helped you out, and I hope you make it so that you don't have a leaky faucet anymore.